So in today's video we're going to talk about the importance of flexibility. In other words, which move to play first and which move order to use. The thing you want to do is to keep as many options open as possible. To illustrate, I will show you quickly a French defense. So after e6, um, the two of the most flexible moves I think are either knight f3 or d4. And let me explain why. Let's say you play c3. c3 is possible, but what it does is it blocks the knight from going to c3. Also, maybe you want to play c4 at a certain time. So c3, c4, that will lose a tempo. Also, let's say you play knight e2. So knight e2, the problem with that is obviously, excuse me. The problem with that obviously is that it blocks in the bishop, which means you have to play maybe something like knight g3 and then bishop out. So that's why knight f3 is a very flexible move. So let's say d5. So here you can, because you play the flexible move, you have different choices. You can go into the exchange variation with takes and d4 maybe. But you can also maybe try something like e5. So here, so here after d5, you go e5, c5, and now you see you can play c3 for example. That's one possibility to go for a d4 setup. Or here you can play b4, the wing gambit. So as you can see, playing this knight out first gave us a lot of extra possibilities during the game later. I'm not saying this is the best move, but as you can see by playing this, we are keeping our options open. So let's say instead white would play d4, and I'll show you quickly the next moves. So knight f3, bishop d6. And here, not saying it's the best move again, but you could try here bishop d3 for example, with the point being that you are delaying developing this bishop. So you're keeping your options open. You want to go bishop g5 later perhaps. So let's say here bishop d3, knight f6. First you give an in between check, forcing the bishop back more or less. And after castles, castle, rook e1, rook e8. Now you go bishop g5, you see. And by keeping things flexible, you are actually saving one tempo compared to, let's say here, if you here would have maybe played bishop e3, then knight f6. Let's say here, you see it's a similar position, but you have lost one tempo. So let's see here. Let's say e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Now two of the most flexible moves I think are bishop c4 and bishop c5. Why is that? Well, if you think about what are two of the best positions for the best squares for this bishop, it's probably c4 or b5 outside this pawn chain. You want to play d3 later and get this bishop outside of this pawn chain before you play d3. So let's say if you play d3 first, well then you are shutting in this bishop. So that's why it's important to pay attention to the move order and play flexible moves. So let's say after bishop c4, bishop c5, and here, even though the engine recommends, I think, to go c3 here, the most flexible move is probably castles, so that afterwards you have a lot of flexibility to decide what to do. Maybe you want to play c3, d4, maybe you want to try something else like a3 and b4. Maybe you want to put this rook here. Maybe you want to play more modest with d3, knight d2, knight b3. And that's all possible because we played the flexible moves, bishop c4 out first, also making room to castle, and now castle, so that we have a lot of options available to us depending on what black plays next. So also notice that after knight f6, because of our flexible play, we actually have 1, 2, 3 different ways to defend this pawn. And I think all of them are also okay moves. So yeah, this is okay. Let's quickly check it. This is also okay. Knight c3 is not that good, but still okay as well. I think the point here is that knight c3 again blocks this idea of going c3, d4. So this was a quick introduction into the principle of flexibility. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, subscribe or leave a comment, and I will see you perhaps in one of the next videos.